Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to the Fairy Amazon Challenge in The Sims 4. We are following the reign of Queen Supriya Reed Daisy, who has recently had a court member declare their faction. Lady Kayla has gotten a good understanding of the court and proved through her actions that she aligns with the Queendom's harmonious faction. However, the declaration has set her back in terms of influence. Without other faction members to rally with, she's lost her voice among the fairies. Okay, we are picking up at 7 a.m. on Monday. This is such a picturesque scene, I am not gonna lie. I love that they started sword fighting by the stream over here with such pretty sparkling waters and the fairies with their wings out. It looks so idyllic. But okay, let us go through the whims of, I think, our more interesting characters right now, the youngsters, to see how they're adapting to all of the changes that have come with Jadis being a member of the court, and some of the other stuff we have seen, like the Queen having a conversation with Uther, encouraging him to get closer to Lynette, and also we had the declaration of a faction with Lady Kayla, and we are seeing that she is getting a little bit closer to Katerina, someone that's kind of been her rival, but also, I think, an obsession? So I'm curious. Okay, Jadis. What is Jadis's position with Supriya right now? I want to know that. Yeah, okay. She has 100 relationship with Supriya, and Supriya has an 84 with Lynette. So I think at this point in time, Jadis has definitely shaken things up, and her mother can't deny the fact that Jadis is the more appropriate heir material. Now, some of you lovelies were actually saying that Jadis, since she is so wise and is more inclined towards, the political sphere. Sphere? Jeez, wrong word. You were saying that maybe she would make a good advisor for Lynette. However, with the way the court system works, any spare royal does not continue to serve in the next generation's court. So Jadis, as a spare, will essentially retire to the, I think, luxury class. Yes, she can be at the new castle or, the new royal grounds, but most likely that is not going to be the case. Jadis may just remain here as a member of the luxury class, which is supposed to be the faction of fairies that will be drawn from in the future if, for example, something happens to Lynette's bloodline. If there's a Justin situation where Lynette dies without an heir, then her sister Jadis will kind of be the first one in line to get the throne. But that also means that Jadis cannot serve in court while her sister is queen. So there should be no kind of contest of royal influence within the same serving court or the same generation's court, which makes sense. And I can also see for that reason why Jadis is trying so hard to hold on to whatever control she has and influence her mother's thoughts in terms of, her being the more ideal heir, because if Lynette is declared queen, then there is no going back for Jadis. She is going to have to be relegated to a quiet corner, and she's not going to have any power, essentially. So, yeah, the stakes are pretty high for her. But okay, Jadis. She wants to cloud gaze with Lady Bren Fronstar. So let's actually go to Lady Bren and cloud gaze with her. This would be here. Okay, we'll go cloud gaze. And I think okay, put the sword down. I think we have seen in the past that Jadis, she is always more attuned to the more useful members of court, and we know that Bren, there's a lot of talk about her getting her position because of her closeness to Katerina. And also, you guys mentioned that maybe the reason why Katerina is distracting herself with other things is because in the time since the creation of the Summer Council, she's become aware that there are rumors about her power being abused and Bren getting her position because of their relationship. So to prove that it is not the case, she is trying to be a little bit more distanced from Bren. She's trying not to make it as obvious that they are together and they're enjoying life as counselors. And I feel like Jadis is definitely the type of person who would be aware of things like this, and she would use it as a way to get closer to Bren. So she might have noticed this behavior of Katerina. She might have put together the pieces in her mind about why Katerina is reacting that way. And so I think she would find a moment to have a quiet sort of bonding session with Bren, where she is kind of explaining Katerina's thoughts and reassuring Bren, and in that process getting closer to her. Very, very smart of Jadis, if I say so myself. Then we have Titania, who is spending time with her mother Katerina. She wants to chat with Prince Uther. Where is the fire? There's another fire. There is another... That was Dustin. That was not a freak fire. That was Dustin. Dustin, are you kidding me? We don't have time for this, Dustin. We don't have time for this. Oh my goodness. Okay, well that was a freak fire. That was a freak fire. Because I'm pretty sure she just put the one Dustin caused out, and now we have this. But this kind of terrifies me because the portrait of Queen Supriya, guys, has gotten burnt. And the last time something like this happened, Justin died. Literally, before Justin died, like a few hours before or the day before, there was a fire in the kitchen caused by one of the fairies, and her portrait got burnt, and then she died afterwards. So I'm a little bit worried, but Lynette's the one putting the fire out. So what tragedy is this going to be, speaking of? So anyways, she did put the original fire out. I think this is a freak fire. It's almost as though some nature spirit is saying that, oh, in case the fairy-made fire didn't express my concern, here is a freak fire that I am actually causing. I'm worried because I have noticed a lot of freak fires recently. We had kind of a bit of a downtime where there wasn't really a lot of fires happening, but I have noticed in the past couple of episodes we have had like 2 or 3 fires, and this is definitely not good. This is definitely not good, because what are the fires hinting at? I'm not entirely sure. Okay, the fire has gone out, but I think this would put mounting pressure on maybe Supriya. The fact that something is not right within her family, maybe. Something's not right, because one of the fires that happened, it was in her own chamber, and then we are having a freak fire where her portrait is getting burnt. These are like signs. These are things to be terrified of. Okay, well, we are going to replace this, and replace that. Oh my goodness, but that was terrifying. Okay, Titania, sorry. Titania, she wants to chat with Prince Uther. So where is Uther? Where is Uther? Uther, I feel like you should be here. We're gonna teleport him over. We're gonna teleport over Uther. Okay, where is he? Where is he? Right, Uther. Now Titania. Was Titania there when... Hold on a second. Was Titania there when the queen was encouraging Uther in the last episode to spend more time with Lynette? She might have been. She might have been. Okay, let's get her to... discuss healthy relationships. Oh my goodness, yes. She's gonna talk to Uther. And I think Titania, she's kind of... I was gonna say split. I was going to say she is kind of split. But her relationship with Lynette is in the red? Wait, what? Guys. She has a -32 friendship with Lynette. And she has a 33 with Jadis, even though she has a bad compatibility with her. Lynette, everything is falling apart. Everything is falling apart. Okay, well, I think Titania has made it quite clear that her sister is way more important to her than any princess. And I think in the very beginning we spoke about how part of why Titania and Vivian have such a strong relationship with Lynette is because they're both on the same page about how they feel for the crown princess, that she's their best friend. But since the princess's relationship with Vivian has soured, it has affected the way Titania views Lynette. And maybe Titania feels that her sister was willing to give up Uther for Lynette, but Lynette wasn't willing to do the same. And even though it's sort of different because she's betrothed and the crown princess, she has different expectations. I think they were so close that Titania thought that wouldn't be an obstacle. And right now, I think she's talking to Uther because she wants to know Uther's perspective on all of this. Like, are you going to put aside your friendship for Vivian when you're not that interested in Lynette, or are you going to stick to your duty and do what needs to be done? Oh my goodness. And then, of course, we have Vivian, whose relationship with Lynette is definitely bad. It's -63, and it's 44 with Jadis. I feel so bad for Lynette. Things have turned around so quickly. And here I was really excited about the fact that she had such a strong backing with the younger generation. That is no longer the case. Vivian wants to eat an excellent meal. I think Vivian is of the attitude that she's not really going to think about all of this, that she is not going to bother so much with it. It's not doing her any favors to rack her brains over something and someone who is not that interested in maintaining any sort of good relation. She's gonna make some vegetable dumplings, and she is gonna eat some vegetable dumplings. So this is, I suppose right now, her comfort food in a way. So let's go ahead. I mean, she could have had a piece of that cake, but I'm gonna get it to do some cooking. Okay, Vivian. Let's go ahead, let's eat some food, let's forget about all of this nonsense. And I kind of like the fact that Vivian she obviously had a falling out with Lynette, but I don't think she's complained about Lynette to Titania because she saw that Titania was so close to Lynette as well. But Titania, of her own accord, has kind of chosen her sister's side. However, their relationship has also taken a hit. Like right now, they're not friends anymore, which I think is so fascinating. Vivian's relationship with Titania is at 29. They have a higher relationship with Jadis than each other. And I think this would obviously be because of how much things have changed since they entered court. The strain of family over friendship. And I don't think Titania regrets her decision, but I think that a part of her is mourning the fact that things are so different. Oh my goodness, it's like heartbreak on top of heartbreak. But I love how complex this is. It's not straightforward at all. Okay, there we go. Lynette, how is she coping with everything? Okay, oh, am I good enough? She wants to chat with Vivian. Oh, Lynette wants to chat with Vivian. Okay, well, Vivian's here with everyone else. I think Lynette definitely sees how things are going with everyone. Oh my goodness. She's got so much red. I think Lynette knows that things are kind of getting out of her control. And she is not naive enough to not see that her sister is benefiting from all of this, that she's kind of disappointing her mother's expectations in her. And I think Lynette wants to try and deal with the problem. So I think that's probably the reason why she wants to go talk to Vivian. She's gonna compliment Vivian's dress compliment her outfit, but I also get the sense that they have grown so apart, they don't know what to talk about anymore. She's just, talking, it's like small talk. She's talking about the weather almost. But it's very surface level things. She doesn't know if she can talk to Vivian about things of depth anymore, but I think she wants to try and fix things. And I think Lynette also, she kind of feels guilty about the fact that Titania and Vivian's sisterhood has also taken a hit because of Titania having to choose Vivian over Lynette. And she doesn't like that her two ex-best friends are going through that. This is such a mess. Okay, Queen Cypria, who has been sleeping quite soundly, meanwhile is maintaining an excellent friendship with pretty much all of the youngsters. I mean, it's a good quality as queen. But she wants to play some card games. So let's see who she's going to invite to her card game. This is always fascinating because obviously she's going to invite the ones she has the least relationship with, the ones who she wants to know more about, which is one of the reasons why I love the card games. Some of the other interactions, it becomes quite obvious like who they're going to talk to. A lot of the time, Cypria is always talking to Katerina is always talking to Cypria. Kayla's always talking to Katerina, stuff like that. But when it comes to card games, you don't really know because it's the opposite. It's whoever they have the least relationship with. So, okay, we're not going to change the game. We're going to play a card game. Oh well, there's only 3 fairies close enough right now. But she's going to play a card game with Jadis, Bren, and Titania, all of whom she has a very close relationship with. Okay, Jadis, I think the queen is almost like taking under her wing at this point. Bren was talking or spending time with Jadis recently. And I think Cypria, not knowing the context of the discussion, would see that as a good quality, that Jadis is trying to be inclusive of court members that others kind of spread rumors about. That Jadis is not buying that she is trying to discover for herself. So she would try and encourage them to talk more. And then Titania, because Cypria probably would have noticed Titania talking to Uther, and she would want to know what that was about, given that she had spoken to Uther the day before. So let's get them all up here. Oh my goodness, Titania, you are so dirty, honey. You are so dirty right now. Okay, are they gonna join the table or not? Or is this only going to be something that Jadis does? But even now, I was gonna say, you can kind of see how the others, they may take their time, but Jadis, she does not waste any opportunity to get close to her mother. I don't think, yeah, Titania isn't gonna stick around. She would make an excuse and kind of go away. Bren, I think, would be a little bit uncertain. I mean, she can't exactly leave. She's a member of the Queen's Council, so she probably has to stay a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, I think she would say she's got other things to do. Meanwhile, Jadis, she does not let up. Jadis literally will take any and every chance she can get to stick really close to her mother. Like, she knows her priorities and what's important, which is very, very impressive, I will say. It's yet another show of maturity. Lady Brent's twin daughters have aged up into teens, so let's take a look at them in Cass, starting off with Tinka. Tinka aspires to be an eco-innovator and has developed the generous trait. She has always stuck to herself and prefers to think of new ideas and solutions to problems rather than tangling with political drama in the court. And, knowing how tough politics can be, she's more kind-hearted and generous towards every fairy she encounters. After all, who knows what things they're going through? In this way, she ensures she doesn't become the cause of someone else's pain or difficulty. In terms of appearance, she has all of her mother's coloring and her father's beauty, and she is the prettier twin, but I don't think it's something she particularly cares about. She and Sycorax have also inherited their mother's brown wings, and that's all for Tinka. Sycorax aspires to create memorable fairy stories and has developed the genius trait. Unlike her sister, she likes tangling with the court and wants her tales to be prevalent in future generations. She's not satisfied being the younger, forgotten daughter of an unimportant fairy. And as she's watched the political landscape growing up, she's sharpened her sense of how to hit her opponents where it hurts. Tinker might take the peaceful route, but Sycorax isn't one to waste her time being nice. In terms of appearance, she has her father's coloring but her mother's features. Her broad jaw definitely gives her a more tough look, which I think she prefers over her sister's dainty face because it shows she means business. But I think she's quite cute. And that's all for Sycorax. Okay, I do not want to waste any time in getting to know the new twins and seeing their relationships with everyone else in court, especially because they're pretty much the complete opposites. One's really sweet and nice, and one is really, really mean and likes poking you where it hurts. So, Tinker, it seems as though she has a friendship with Jadis, Lynette, Queen Supriya, Titania, and her sister Sycorax. So she is basically best friends with her sister Sycorax, and they have a really good compatibility. She gets along quite well with Supriya, so that tells me she has a healthy respect for the queen. And she is friends with both princesses, but she is closer to Lynette. She has a 46 friendship with Lynette and a 35 with Jadis. So I suppose she respects Lynette as well for being the heiress, unlike a lot of other people. So that's kind of nice. You know what? She's staying out of Vivian and Uther's way and hasn't really gotten close to them, which makes sense for her because she doesn't like tangling in court politics, and right now they're the ones who are the most tangled in the drama that's going on, whereas Titania is a bit more removed, so I can see her becoming friends with Titania. And in terms of everyone else in the house, she doesn't have a good impression of Lady Bren. They are acquaintances, but you know what? I think Tinker is definitely someone who buys into the rumor that Bren got her position because of her relationship. Meanwhile, she is really, really good friends with Kayla. She gets along very well with her mother, which is nice. She's friends with Katerina. And that's pretty much it. Jumping over to Sycorax. So, Sycorax, let's see. Let's go to the clubs. Oh, she has a relationship in the red with Uther. She does not like him. She's got -11 with him. Yeah, she does not like Uther. Okay, I suppose she sees him as a problem. And you know what? She doesn't like being the youngest child, and she doesn't like that her mother is burnt. I think she would far prefer someone important like Katerina. So I can see her projecting that onto Uther and thinking to herself, like, you're the son of a fallen dynasty. I don't know why everyone is fussing over you so much. Like, I have more importance than you do, or I should be more important because I am a daughter of my own bloodline. So there we go. I think she's trying to say that, his mother also failed, which should be a reflection on him, even though she doesn't want her mother's unimportance to be a reflection on her. Double standards, but it is the way it is. She's also acquaintances with Jadis, but it seems as though she's kind of staying out of Jadis's way. Meanwhile, she gets along very well with Lynette. They have amazing compatibility, and they are good friends. And she's being mean to Jadis, oh my goodness. So that is fascinating. I wonder if she actually... She likes Lynette much more than Jadis, and I think this also ties to why she doesn't like Uther. She and Lynette probably get along because they have the same mentality about Uther not being worthy of Lynette. They've got a streak of superiority to them, and that's probably what connects them as friends. Fascinating. You know what? Lynette might benefit from having someone mean at her side. She might actually benefit from that. And I love seeing that she is really close to her sister, and I hope that is maintained through the lifetime of, you know, them being in court, because we've seen how drastically things can change with Titania and Vivian. She is friends with Supriya, but I think Sycorax actually has more respect for Lynette than she does for the Queen. She doesn't see the Queen as someone who they should blindly listen to. She's friends with Titania, even though she has a bad impression of Titania. Maybe she feels like Titania's wishy-washy, because she's supposed to be fiery and hot-headed, but she doesn't really do anything. I mean, her sister got into so much trouble and she didn't stand up for her, which I think Sycorax finds ridiculous. And she is acquaintances with Vivian. I mean, her sister is staying out of Vivian's way, so she probably is too. I think also she does not like that Vivian is becoming best buds with Jadis. She thinks that it is beneath Vivian, and it is kind of beneath them. Since Jadis is not actually important, she is a spare, and therefore she is going to be relegated to the luxury class. She's not actually going to have say in anything in the next generation. So I think Sycorax feels like it's a bit of a waste of time. That is so interesting. At first, I was wondering if her relationship with Tinka might be strained because they are so different personality-wise, but I am very, very pleased to see that it is not the case. It is definitely not the case. And I wonder how protective Sycorax would be over Tinka compared to Titania and Vivian, given that she's unimpressed with Titania for not standing up to Uther and to basically Lynette. Even though she's friends with Lynette, I think she would respect Titania more if Titania had overtly taken Vivian's side, or if she had said something to Uther about playing around with her sister's feelings. And I completely forgot to take a look at her relationship with the other court members. So with her mother, she's good friends, which is nice to see. Lady Kayla, she is not very she's not very fond of. She doesn't have a good impression of Kayla, and she's acquaintances with her, probably because she feels like it's wise to know who her sister's becoming good friends with in court. But yeah, she doesn't have a high opinion of Kayla. Maybe she feels like Kayla's a bit of a rival because Sycorax is a bit strategic, and she can see that Kayla is as well. Katerina, yeah, she has amazing compatibility with, is very good friends with. Let's see, she's got an 81 with Brant and a 77 with Katerina. We did say that she kind of was hoping or wishing that someone like Katerina was her mother. I feel like that makes sense. And with Bran, she has a good compatibility, but she doesn't have a very high opinion of her. She doesn't think Bran is anything. She's not self-made the way that Sycorax wants to be. And with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.